Welcome to Motivate You, the Winner Circle here, and this is 50.com. This gentleman has been across the globe and back. You've seen him on 106 in Park. You've seen him on Good Morning America. You've seen him on Good Day New York. You've seen him on the Foxhole with Jamie Foxx. He is also the tour DJ for some of your favorite artists. We're talking about Mack, Little Kim, Jazmine Sullivan, and listen, there's so much to unpack, and we're going to have so much fun. Please welcome to the show, DJ Reg West. Reg, what's going on, big bro?
Everything is amazing, homie. Yo, thank you so much for the intro. Thank you for having me, June. I appreciate you, bro. How are you?
I am great, man. I am just blessed, man, to have the opportunity to have friends, brothers like yourself along this journey that we call music. And I want to ask you right out the gate, man, the world has changed in the past couple of months. We'll just call it a year. We're coming up on a year.
Yeah.
And for those who are the best at what they do, when you're talking about tour DJs, you're talking about being in the club, you're talking about giving back. We're going to talk about all of those things. But for you, how has the pivot been from, you're used to stamping that passport, man, and traveling and being on that tour bus and being in these vans. How has it been for you to kind of be able to just be home with the family, zoom in here, zoom in there? And I ain't talking about in the sense of transportation. We're talking about online. Like, how has this transition and pivot have been for you?
Well, let me speak from a general standpoint. Every DJ I know has had to make a pivot. If you're not D nice, you've had to make a real pivot. You know what I mean? Like you had to reevaluate your life from a creative standpoint. For me, it's been a blessing to be home with the family, get a chance to sit down and hang out a little bit. I mean, doing Zoom school for the kids is also a bit crazy too, but it's definitely been a challenge and a growth experience. I've taken a lot of time to self-reflect. I've taken a lot of time to figure out what's the extended speed of the progress. Because like in any business, you have to have a plan of like, okay, what's next? Now with this Corona pivot that almost every DJ has had to deal with, you have to accelerate your pivots a little bit more. So that's what I've been working on, I guess, during this downtime, so to speak.
And for you, how much? Because you were traveling a lot, bro.
Yes, sir.
How important is it, or was it, for people to be able to go outside of their comfort zone, to travel, to experience different cultures, different places, different cuisine? Like, how important was that? Kanye talked about how many stamps you got in your passport. Like,
Okay.
you have many. You've been around. Like, you were in Dubai with Fabolous for New Year's Eve, right?
Yes,
You flew across the globe with Mack and Little Kim. How important is it? Because I want young people and middle-aged folk as well to understand that when this thing opens up, to having the opportunities to travel, how important is that to open up your world a little bit?
Okay. So just to clarify, I think before I get into that answer, I need to specify who I've worked with and the time frames, because I don't want anybody to get upset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's be clear.
Let's be clear. So 2003 to 2006, I was Little Kim's tour DJ. We traveled the world. We did a lot of amazing things. Around 2007 to about 2011, I think was the end date. I was with Fabolous. I was Fabolous's co-DJ. Let's just say that. My big bro DJ 45 was the head dude, and I would fill in when 45 would be out with Wayne. You mentioned Mack Wiles. I was with Mack Wiles from 2013 to current, and there's been a bunch of other people in that too. Jazmine Sullivan, like you mentioned, Nina Scott, Jay Sean, JoJo, a few other people along the lines too. Now, to go back to your question, I tell people all the time, the world is bigger than your block. The world is bigger than Miami. The world is bigger than Jamaica. Shout out to Jamaica. I visit there frequently. I love it there. But you got to see more than just those things. You can't just be like Gucci can't be the only fashion line you wear, right? You gotta have bigger visions. You gotta do other things. You gotta go to Africa. I promise you. When you go to Africa for the first time, it's gonna change your life. I've said this before on other interviews, but I'll say it again. Save up 4 trips to Miami and go to Africa. I don't care what country you put your feet in. Just go get some other culture outside of what is quote unquote, the regular thing to do. I promise you, it's gonna open up your mind to so many other things, the cuisine, the opportunities to just talk to different people outside of your regular people that you deal with. It's a blessing to see other things. And when we open back up, June, I really think like it's gonna be a surgence of travel. It's gonna be a surgence of people trying to go back to the club, a surgence of people just trying to just live because we've been so restricted these past 10, 11 months now that it's got to come back. It's just got to come back.
And I believe that. I was having a conversation with Fat Man Scoop the other day, and he said, well, I should say, he asked me, he said, do you remember the Roaring Twenties? I'm like, well, yeah. He's like, okay, so after, things were shut down, at that point, when the Roaring Twenties came in, everything was booming. So you just have to figure out what you're doing now that's going to sustain you, that when this time comes, when we get out of this thing and things are booming, businesses are booming and restaurants are back and everything else that we've seen that had to kind of take the back seat over these past couple of months,
right?
It's going to be booming. So where are you going to be when that shift takes place and everything is moving? You don't want to be playing catch up. You want to be progressive, right? So
right.
I think for what you're saying is we have to be ready. Like you guys are keeping us dancing. You guys are keeping us alive with your music. But how are you guys doing? Because it's like checking on your strong friend, right? The
Right.
DJs are allowing us to dance and enjoy life. But how are you guys doing? Like how are some of your colleagues that are in music, especially from a DJ perspective, doing mentally?
Well, it's funny you asked that question. I had this conversation with a few of my other DJ friends the other day, and like you don't keep up with phone calls as much anymore. You kind of just check out on social media, like, oh, you doing this? All right, that's cool. But I've noticed a lot of my I say close, but a lot of my peers who were in the New York City area, they just stopped posting. Like I haven't seen a post from them in literally 10 months. So I would have to like call a phone, like, yo, you all right? You good? Because DJing in clubs or DJing, specifically in a certain demographic was their only form of income. So when it got shut down, they were
shut down.
They were shut down. But for me specifically, I jumped online. I started doing the IG, parties and all that. But when the George Floyd murder happened, like my whole energy left. Like I honestly didn't want to jump online anymore. I didn't feel. I'm like, what's the purpose? Like we're out here bringing joy, and we're seeing this man getting murdered on TV. What? Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna put these headphones down. Let me do something else productive that can further the cause along a little bit more because I need a break. I've since then, jumped back on, here and there, but that at that point I needed a break because just being home on top of, my own like finances being a little disheveled and trying to figure out the next move, that right there just took me out. I had to pivot and find something else to do constructive to support the cause.
I think that's important because I feel like being as transparent as you just were, if we could just find that opportunity to be transparent with each other, how much stronger would these bonds be? Because we're all going through it at the same time. Whether you're a DJ like yourself, and we have a lot of friends that are DJs, DJ Commits, DJ Chaotic, DJ Chance. For me on the entertainment side now, like I can't even have a large gathering of people throwing an event. So I can't even book you to do my event because I can't have X amount of people in the event. So I think we have to kind of find a way to work towards holding each other up, pulling each other up and together, that we go through this threshold and we thrive on the other side of this. I think it's super important, man. So I really appreciate you sharing that. I want to ask you, man, take us back. When did you find your voice? And when did you find the love for DJing to
It
even want to make it a career?
it started in high school. Wow. So I feel like 10th grade, I was super shy. Like if anybody really knows me, I'm real reserved. I'm not super talkative to in public. I kind of just stay low key. I'm real low. But I started rapping in high school. I was terrible, but I was terrible. But my man was nice, so we formed a group. We used to rap. We would do the contests and concerts in school. I was always the one to be able to figure out how to win. Like I'm like, all right, we got this big ass stage. All right, we need a band. All right, so I got a band. Okay, we need lights. So I hit my lighting guy. Yo, do lights for me. Like I always had the vision. I was always the vision guy. My man was the rapper. I just rap, but I was terrible, June. I was terrible. Anyway, but in that, I realized that um, music could be my outlet. So around the same time, I started DJing. My oldest brother was a part of the movement in Queens, Southside. Shout out to Southside Queens. My oldest brother, Tape Master B from Southside, was a part of the resurgence of rap with the park jams. So when I was a kid, like 5 or 6, he would have to watch me and take me to the park jams, and I would be in the park jams watching the DJs play, and like shout out to Grandmaster Vic, shout out to DeWitt, shout out to all the dudes from Southside who I would watch as a kid. So as I became a young man and I found music, that just became a lane I decided to involve myself in, and move forward. Fast forward just real quick, I'll give it a short version. I started DJing parties around the way in Long Island. I grew up in Long Island, started doing parties around the way in Long Island. Terrible at first, like every other DJ. You know, I had my little 10 records I would bring to every party, one piece of vinyl because that's all I could afford at the time, and started finding my way. Everything kind of just blended together because I was interning at a recording studio in my 1920s. I met another DJ by the name of DJ 45. DJ 45 at the time he was Puff's DJ, he was Mace's DJ, he was Biggie's DJ, he was Kim's DJ. So I started carrying his crates and learned along the ways of just being with him. And that's where it really started to go.
Now, who were some of your mentors, or should I say, people that you were like, yo, I want to get to that level? Were there a few DJs, a handful of DJs that you said, man, like I look up to these people? Like who were those individuals that were doing it at the level where you wanted to see yourself?
Well, I never really looked at it like, oh, I want to be like this person. But you always like in my generation, you look at the flexes, you look at the Kid Capris, you look at the Jazzy Jeffs. But like I said, some of the DJs I just mentioned were some of the guys I aspired to be. I aspired to be like a DJ DeWitt, a Grandmaster Vic. These guys from Southside Queens who I watched and to a degree mimicked early because they were all blend guys. Like their blend game was crazy. So I would learn how to like make blends at home. I was never nice on the sugar. I was all right, but like my focus was like transitions. How can I get better at these transitions? Yeah, man, those were the guys I really looked up to. And you know, I can say the names that everybody else knows, like a Jazzy Jeff and the Kid Capris and all that, but I really listened to those guys and studied and tried to figure out how to become as good, if not better, than those guys that I studied as a kid.
Now, being in it as long as you have been, of course, there's obstacles. There are, a bunch of no's before you get a yes. But someone who's trying to get into the DJ game now, and of course, it's changed a little bit. It will go back to a certain extent, but someone who's really falling in love with it, no matter what age, has there been a piece of advice that you've been given that you continuously, or every once in a while, you go back and you pull that out and lean on it, that you could share with somebody who's not getting the success that they feel that they feel that they deserve or they really want in this moment, and they need like a piece of advice that you've been given that helped you along your journey?
Well, I wouldn't really say more of a piece of advice. It's more of just me learning as I went along, because I didn't really have any mentors on the DJ side. I had a big homie. My man DJ 45 was like a big homie. He opened the door for me. but there was nobody that I can say was like, yo, go this way, yo, go that way. I
Right.
learned it was a lot of trial and error. You know what I mean? Like I fell on my face a lot, and you had to get back up. So I'll say this too, June. Like it's much different than it's much different now than it was when I started. Like when I started, it was still vinyl. So the opportunities were more abundant, but the DJs were a lot less. Now
Right.
with Serato and controllers and everybody like who loves music wants to be a DJ now because it's so accessible and easy. It's so flooded now. You know what I mean? Um, so my advice to anybody who's on the come up, who is trying to get to the next level, is it takes time. That's the first thing. It takes time, and you have to understand that you have to be able to offer something of yourself to someone for the vision to be fulfilled. Let me give a little more information about that. So I mentioned earlier I carried crates for DJ 45. I was doing the clubs in Long Island a little bit at that time. So my knowledge of what was popping was an assist to him when he would be opening up for concerts or if he had a club to do. I would be an ear for him. Like, yo, this is popping right now. Try this. Yo, this is popping. Try that. So you have to have a a reason to be there. Let me just say that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right. Right.
but if you're if you don't have somebody that you can call a big brother or a big sister right now, and you're just doing Sweet 16s and you're just doing the local bar or whatever, keep doing it because one day that person might come in and hear you rock and lead you to your next gig and your next gig. So just that's the thing I could say on top of that is just be consistent and be nice every time and be nice. Period. Be a nice person. Nobody wants to deal with a jerk. You
Super
know what I mean?
important. That's super
You know what?
important.
Nobody wants to deal with a jerk. I don't care how nice you are. Like if you're so nice on the tables, you're not gonna get booked back at the spot because you drank, you know, 30 beers that night. The owner don't want you back, dog. They'll hire somebody else.
Right. They will just come in and do the work. They will just come in and do the work.
Facts.
Uh, we've seen you. Those who know you and love you know the kind of work ethic that you have, the traveling that you had. But one of the things that I think that stands out for me, man, is your hunger to give back.
Yes, sir.
For those who do know you, know that you have a great relationship with the Jeter Foundation, specifically, Hall of Famer Derek Jeter and his Jeter's Leaders.
Yes,
How
sir.
did you have the opportunity to connect with Derek Jeter? And you've been doing this for years, man. I remember being down in Florida one time and I got the opportunity to see you live doing your thing. The OJs were performing. It was an amazing night just to see all that Derek and his sister Charlie have put together in the name of just providing opportunities for children. How did you get connected with the foundation? And what do you continuously do? Because there's so much that you do with them. I just want people to know and just shine some light on it.
Sure. So I linked up with the Turn Two Foundation, which is president right now was Charlie Jeter, which is Derek Jeter's sister. I started doing events for them back in '07. Like I said, I started doing their small events, but I linked with them. We have a mutual friend, and we were at an event. I was introduced. Conversation happened, and I was offered an opportunity to do one of their small local events. They have events like you said, June, in other parts of the country that have big performances, but at the same time they have small charity events that they also have. So I got booked to do a small charity event for them, bodied it, and then they're like, oh, okay, he's good. Let's have him do the bigger charity event.
Right.
It was something, in Midtown Manhattan, dinner. Okay, cool. Bodied that too. So now they move me up into opening up for DJ Premier on these big fundraiser events with Michael Jordan in the room and John Starks and all these Hall of Fame football players. Okay, cool. He's good to open up. Okay, it's cool. And it just moved me into the position of doing all of the events for them that raise money for Derek and Charlie's Turn Two Foundation, where they benefit children in New York City as well as Kalamazoo, Michigan. They have a wonderful program in both cities because if people don't know, Derek is from Kalamazoo, Michigan originally before he moved to New York when he was a Yankee. That they give back to the community with kids programs where they teach kids how to be better. Like it's basically like where a senior is guiding along a freshman on how to evolve, and it happens like a cycle every year. It's so dope how they do it because they're creating our future leaders. That's why they call it Jeter's Leaders.
And if anybody knows and has followed his career, knows how important that is to him, and how he holds himself to a certain standard when it comes to just being a great person, being a great businessman. And I remember that event, man. I was so inspired in the VIP section.
You had to mention that, right? You was in the VIP section.
Michael Jordan, right? You got Michael
Yes.
Jordan, you got Derek Jeter, you got Jeremy Bettis, you got Charles Oakley, you got Charles Barkley, and I'm like, this is like these are the people I know and like. This is awesome, but none of them were really phased with everything else. They came together for a cause that Derek Jeter and his family hold near and dear to them, and it just kind of allowed me to understand, like, man, being philanthropic can feel really good, man. And when you get to a certain point, reach back, pull some people up, inspire people, motivate them. You'd be surprised when you just plant that one seed in someone, especially a young person, that they could dream the impossible, man. So I thank you, and I definitely thank Charlie and Derek for continuous work with what they do with the Turn Two Foundation and Jeter's Leaders. For you, you have made another pivot. When I think that you've done it all, man, you surprised me again, man. And I have to say, man, you've always been the little bro, but some days I'm like, yo, the student has now become the teacher, man. And you have a new thing that you're embarking on called Wave Files with Reg West.
Yes, sir.
Podcast. And we talked about it. It's been a dream of yours. How did you come about even thinking about, let me do a podcast?
Yo, I mean, look, June, I've been thinking about this for a few years because like you said, I've been around the block a little while. I got a few friends, I got some stories to tell. And with this downtime, it only forced you to make the pivot faster. I was gonna get into this podcast game sooner or later, but with the time, I can't travel, we can't work. So to be honest, like part of it is kind of like, hi guys, I'm still here. You know what I mean? But the other part of it, to be honest, like I have friends who have stories, and these stories need to be shared because sometimes the peek behind the fourth wall is important for people to understand and learn that you can get there too. And on top of that, some of these people are going through the same struggles you're going through, and they're honest about it. I've had an opportunity to maybe get through. I've recorded about 6 or 7 episodes so far, and everything I'm doing this first season, I know these people. These are my friends, so we're having candid conversations about their come up and how they've gotten to where they are. It's not just artists, but it's people behind the scenes. I got a friend of mine who makes memes for a living. I got my other homegirl who works at Google as an executive. I got my other homeboy who's an artist who has been in this 10 years strong and still getting money off singles that still play on pop radio. So I'm like, why haven't I had a chance to talk to these people about it? Because these stories need to be shared. There's more. I had this conversation with you too offline, June, but like there's so many jobs out here that aren't always given the proper light to, that kids don't know that these opportunities exist. It's not just the surface opportunities. You don't have to be the rapper. You don't have to be the DJ. You don't have to be the guy doing the podcast. There's other positions out here that you can grow and learn and be great at. So that's what some of these people I'm going to speak to about do, and hopefully we make a dent and at least change a life and a path of somebody with this Wave File podcast that I'm doing.
And that's what it's about, man. And you've rocked Madison Square Garden. You've
Yes,
rocked
sir.
television. You've rocked galas. You've rocked weddings. Like, what is your favorite? And I know the question is like you just love to play music, but what environment is like the environment that you're like, man, I could just leave it all on the turntables and just make my magic happen.
Wow, that's a tough question to answer, June, because I feel like it's not necessarily a venue, it's more of the feeling, right?
Mm.
Because like you said, I've not to brag about nothing, but I've been on stages at Madison Square Garden. I've played at the Staples Center. I played in Dubai. I've done some. God has blessed me to do some amazing things on this planet Earth. Let me tell you that. So it's not always the space, it's the feeling. So yes, like you mentioned, I've done some weddings. I've done some amazing weddings that have given me chills. The same way that Madison Square Garden has given me chills.
Okay,
You know what I
okay.
mean? Like it's honestly like the vibe that I'm able to create in the space and what it means to somebody at the end of the day. Because yo, I've I don't look at myself as someone that's a celebrity or anything like that. So some people might, but I don't. So when I walk into an elevator, for example, I walk into this elevator one time and this girl was literally like looking at me like, "Oh my God, you're Reg West." I'm like, "Yeah, hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you." But I never ever got that. Like
You don't put the two together.
I don't put that two together because June, you know me. I'm not like that. I'm real chill. I don't. I go to the supermarket like everybody else. But for working with these artists that I've worked with over the years, I guess being attached to them, sometimes they're like they love that fan so much that I'm one step away from that artist. So I guess that gives them that feel of like I know the artist now because I met that person's DJ. You know what I
Right,
mean? But
right.
just long story short, to answer your question again, it's all about the space and it's in the feeling. The venues, it could be a jaded response, June, but the venues don't matter anymore. It's all
Yeah,
about the feeling.
got you. And we those who know you, man, we know that's how you do it and that's how you approach it. And I always get not enamored, but there's days I wake up and I'm gonna ask you this. Do you ever wake up and say, yo, man, like, you know, I love this music, but I have the opportunity to actually talk to and correspond with and have conversations with these people that I listen to in this music. And like, do you ever want, like, I don't know how else to say, but do you ever, I sit back and I'm like, man, like, I got to talk to DJ Reg West. I got to talk to this. Like, do you ever just say, and then you just keep it moving, right? But some days I'm just like, yo, this is really cool. Like, I get to talk to my heroes in music that I've grown to listen to and watch on television and on radio.
It happened a lot when I started when I started becoming a tour DJ for artists. The first person I ever tour DJ'd for was Genuine, and that didn't last long. It maybe like 2 3 months in 2003. And to be honest, like he was talking to me like one of his boys, and I'm like, "Yo, dog, I seen you on TV yesterday." Like, because it was still strange to me that I'm in this space. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, um, it also happened the first time when I met Derek. Like the first time I met Derek, it was like, "Yo, like my brother had your poster on the wall, dog. Like, and you're right in front of me. This is crazy." Same thing with Jordan, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, I had Jordan's poster on my wall, and he's shaking my hand like, "Yo, what's up?" It's it's definitely um cool to be in the same room with these people, but at the end of the day, you realize they're just regular people, just like me and you. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's they're celebrities, they're famous. Some of them have done some athletic feats that are phenomenally crazy that we can never copy. But at the same time, they put on their shoes the same way we do, right? It's just
Yeah.
they regular people be, and that's what you have to get to once you get past the oh okay, because everybody's the same at the end of the day, June. Everybody's the same.
And it's so inspiring to see them in those moments where they're just humble beings. They're just, like you said, they're just human beings living out their dreams. And for me, that's super inspiring and motivating to see them in those moments where you could truly appreciate them for who they are and what they've accomplished.
Sure.
So I've been playing this game called University of Dope, and I have what I believe to be one of the dopest DJs here on the interview. So we're going to do a speed round of University of Dope. For those who know that I've been playing this, the game is called University of Dope, and there are A, B, C, and D answers, and there's a couple of pop quizzes in there. So, Reg West, as the game says, unpopular opinions are welcome. It is all fun. We're enjoying it. And Reg West, let's take a step inside University of Dope.
Let's do
We're
it.
going to try to see how many we could get in less than 3 minutes.
Oh, boy.
All right?
Let's go.
So, here we go. Reg West, show me what you're working with. Best twerk anthem. Is it Juvenile? Is it Luke? Is it Travis Porter? Or is it Waka Flocka?
Lord. All right. It's A. Okay? It's A. It's Back That Ass Up by Juvenile. All right. I'll only say that because that record talks to generations of people. Like, I know 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, and 50-year-olds that rock to that song. But go ahead, sir. Continue.
All right. Greatest diss song of all time. Is it A, Hit 'Em Up, Tupac? B, Ether, Nas? C, Takeover, Jay-Z? Or D, No Vaseline, Ice Cube?
It's B, Ether, Nas, because it meant so much to him. It meant so much to his career. Like, Nas was almost out of here. But that Ether record came, resurrected.
And that was it. That was it. All right. You got to rock on the stage with only one. Choose your hype man. Is it A, Spliff Star? B, Flavor Flav? C, Fat Man Scoop? Or D, Little John?
I'm going to go Spliff Star. You know why? Because Spliff Star has been with Busta Rhymes forever. Like, Busta don't even need the microphone. Spliff could do the whole thing for him. It don't matter.
All by himself.
All by himself.
Best Jay-Z album. Is it A, Reasonable Doubt? B, The Blueprint? C, Volume 2, Hard Knock Life? Or D, 444?
Lad, I'm going to have to go with B, The Blueprint. It was an amazing time. It was, I mean, look, man, the towers fell and the album still did crazy numbers. All right. So I'm gonna go with that album right there.
You rock the stages. I know you played this record 100 times. Recite the first 2 lines of Nothing But a G Thing.
Oh, it's like 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at your door.
All right. $75,000 or tickets to the Rock Nation brunch?
I'm gonna take that $75K.
Listen, I ain't gonna play with it.
Yo, nah, I'm taking the $75K. You know why? Because I could flip that $75K and I can get into that Rock Nation brunch on my own next year. Thank you very much.
All right, pop quiz. You must name 7 songs by or and featuring Fabolous. You were a tour DJ with Fab. Fabolous. Can you give me
name 7? Wait. I have to name 7 songs featuring or by Fabolous.
Yes.
Lord. Okay. So, Breathe.
Yep.
So Into You. What's Dream's record? Rocking That with Dream, right? You got wow, yo, put me on the spot. It's going crazy right now. Make Me Better. That's 4. Wow. Wow. Yo, on the spot is going crazy. I Can't Deny It. That's 5.
Wow. Okay.
We got Badia, right? And then we got what's I'm naming all my favorite songs. That's why it's taking so long. And then we can go with Summertime Shootout, 7.
You're good. Reg West, you're good.
Those are just my favorites. That's why it took so long. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Pick the best rap group from the following: A. Cypress Hill, B. The Roots, C. Slum Village, or D. Salt and Pepper.
Uh, I'm gonna say, wow, whoever I say, someone's gonna get upset. I'm gonna say D, Salt and Pepper, because of what they've done for the business. Shout out to Spinderella. Spinderella should have been in that Lifetime, whatever. I didn't see it, but shout out to Spinderella. She should have been in that joint.
All right. Who is winning in a jailhouse brawl? Is it A. The Brat, B. Remy Ma, C. Young M.A., or D. Foxy Brown?
All right, listen. Remy's already been there, so I'm gonna go with Remy.
All right, say no more. The best song dedicated to your moms, is it A. Miss Jackson, Outkast, B. Hey Mama, Kanye West, C. All I Got Is You, Ghostface Killer, or D. Dear Mama, Tupac?
I'm gonna go with Pac. I'm gonna go with D. But Ghostface Killer is a close number two. Close number two.
Okay. Erase one person from hip hop history.
Oh, come on, don't do this, June.
Who would it be? Would it be A. Queen Latifah, B. MC Lyte, C. Lauryn Hill, or D. Missy Elliott?
Oh, don't do this to me, June. Do we get a chance to swap out cards and change them out? Can we do something?
You only get one. You only get one pass. I don't know. I don't know if you want to do it on this one, but you get one pass.
Okay, you already told me that. All right, so MC Lyte.
Okay. Lights, camera, action. Best film with a rapper in it: A. Belly, B. Paid in Full, C. Boys in the Hood, or D. Set It Off?
Boys in the Hood.
Best Thug Love collaboration: is it A. Always on Time, Ja Rule featuring Ashanti, B. You're All I Need, Method Man featuring Mary, C. What's It Gonna Be, Busta featuring Janet, or D. Best of Me, Maya featuring Jay-Z?
That's gonna have to be B. You're All I Need, Method Man and Mary.
One gotta go. If they had to go, who would it be? A. J. Cole, B. Drake, C. Kendrick Lamar, or D. Childish Gambino?
Just off of, damn, yo, I like all these guys a lot too, but if you're making me pick one, it's gonna be Childish Gambino.
If these four MCs were on the same track today, who would come out on top? A. LL Cool J, B. Rakim, C. KRS-One, or D. Big Daddy Kane?
I'm gonna be biased and be from Long Island, so B. Rakim.
Okay, all right. It's Throwback Thursday. Who's your DJ? Is it A. Kid Capri, B. DJ Red Alert, C. Fat Man Scoop, or D. DJ Kool Herc?
It's the Kid Capri.
All right. So, Mix Master, pick the best DJ from the following. Is it A. Funk Master Flex, B. DJ Clue, C. DJ Green Lantern, or D. DJ Envy?
Best mixtape DJ or best DJ?
Best DJ.
Out of these four, that's Flex.
All right.
That's Flex. I like party DJ. That's Flex.
If someone wanted to experience hip hop for the first time, which album would you give them? A. Alone in Theory, A Tribe Called Quest, B. Enter the Wu-Tang Clan, C. Straight Outta Compton, NWA, or D. Paid in Full, Eric B. and Rakim?
I'm gonna go with the 36 Chambers. 36 Chambers, sir.
In your opinion, the most influential rap song of all time, is it A. The Message, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, B. Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang, C. Planet Rock, Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force, or D. Sucker MCs, Run DMC?
It's got to be Rapper's Delight. That's the record that started it all. Like it really started taking us off. So it's got to be that record.
All right. Stay Woke, the best politically conscious song: A. Fight the Power, Public Enemy, B. F the Police, NWA, C. Hip Hop by Dead Prez, or D. My President by Jeezy?
That's Fight the Power by Public Enemy, sir. No question.
You're stranded on a deserted island but can only listen to one album. What will it be? What will you bring with you? Is it A. Black on Both Sides, Most Def, B. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, C, 3 Feet High and Rising, De La Soul, or D, The Chronic by Dr. Dre?
Wow, I'm gonna have to go with D, The Chronic by Dr. Dre, only because Lauryn Hill's gonna put me in my feels. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Drum roll, please. The best hip hop soundtrack is it A, Friday, B, Above the Rim, C, 8 Mile, or D, Juice?
Damn, June. I'm gonna have to say Juice. I'm gonna have to say D, Juice.
All right. Erase one person from hip hop history. Who would it be? Would it be A, Swiss Beats, B, Dr. Dre, C, The RZA, or D, Timbaland?
I'm using this as my skip. I'm skipping. I'm good.
You're skipping.
I'm skipping that one. Skipping.
You're skipping. All right.
I'm skipping.
All right. Last one, DJ Reg West.
Yes,
Erase
sir.
one person from hip hop history. Who would it
Come
be?
on! Come on!
Nas, B, The Notorious B.I.G., C, Tupac, or D, Jay-Z?
I should have known by the way
You
you said
never
that.
know when it's coming.
I should have known by the way you said that. Like, you sure you want to set this? I'm so New York. All right, pop.
DJ Reg West, thank you for playing University of Dope with us. You can get this at University of Dope on Instagram, at universityofdope.com. Reg, for you, man, what song, because we know that music is a soundtrack to our life, and you provide that soundtrack for a lot of us. What song best represents your journey up to this point? Or what artist best represents your journey up to this point?
Wow. June, I can't really think of a song that really sums up my career at this point, or artist, but I'll say this song. So I speak to some of my DJ peers about this, and like, especially when I was heavier in the clubs or just doing events, like, I need chill music when I'm driving home. Like, I need to slow it down. So it would be a lot of like 70s, 80s R&B that I would play on my ride home from these events. So I'm gonna say Joy and Pain. That's gonna be my song. Just because I feel like, there's always sunshine after the rain. You know what I mean? So that, I feel like that would be a good song to pick. Oh, just because we didn't really cover too much in this interview, June, but like, I've had highs, I've had lows, I fell on my face. Being a tour DJ, for anybody who doesn't know, like, it's not super duper glamorous, all right? Like,
Right.
It's dope that you get a chance to see these cities. It's dope that you're on stage in front of thousands and thousands of people. But it's hard work figuring out set lists, working with the artists. And when the artist isn't working, you're not working. Those are things I had to learn super early about this. Like, and when you come home, you have to figure out what you're doing to have income when you come home off the road, because most artists are not working 365 days out the year. So yeah, Joy and Pain, I think might fit. I think it might fit.
Brother, I appreciate this time with you, man. It's been amazing. Where can we see Wave Files?
All right, so Wave Files, the podcast, is launching specifically on my YouTube, on my Spotify, as well as it's on Apple Music as well. Just Google Wave Files Podcast or Wave Files Reg West. It'll show up on your socials. The on social media is Wave Files Podcast. That's on Instagram as well as on Facebook and Twitter. All right, you can follow me at DJ Reg West. I have links to everything on my socials as well. Yeah, man, that's what's going on right now.
You heard it here. DJ Reg West, new podcast show, Wave Files, is out. Follow him, like him, love what he's doing. Once we get out of this pandemic and we are back and we're moving and shaking, making our magic happen, you will see him at a city near you with Mack, Jazmine Sullivan. Who knows who he's going to be with, making his magic happen. So
listen, but by the time we get out of here, you probably just see me by myself. All right, let's call it like that.
Why not? Ladies and gentlemen, this is your host, June Archer, for the Winner Circle Motivate You, here with my man DJ Reg West. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless y'all. Be safe and make sure you take care of each other, man. Make sure you tell somebody you love them. It may be the last time you see them. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless y'all. Peace. Bang.